guys, Jennifer here from Beauty is Virtue, and I have been on a flower making kick, and I have been putting together these gorgeous vintage looking flowers, and I wanted to show you in case I can inspire you. I was inspired myself by Lele Lineca. She did like a backwards flower tutorial, and she basically called it her work of art, a masterpiece type of, piece of art that takes time to put together, and it definitely took time, but it's very relaxing to me, when I'm sitting with my husband and he might be watching something that I'm not all that interested in, but I like to put together these little flowers when I'm, sitting there, and I have to keep doing stuff. I have to keep busy. So anyway, enough about that. I just wanted to show you how I made some of these flowers. So my first flower, I want to say was, wait a minute, now I can't remember. I think it was this one. This is a very fluffy, fat flower. And I started out with this beautiful stone. And these stones I got on eBay, and they're glass crystal stones. But look at the sparkle. Oh my goodness. And I basically took pieces of trim, like for example, this type of trim. I tea-dyed this trim from Natalie's bag that I made her, and canvas bag that I altered. Anyway, I had some left over that was tea stained, and so I cut pieces of it, and you can see how I kind of wrapped it around the stone. And so basically that's what I did. I took a beautiful trim like this, that I might have remnants of, or little scraps, or even not, I just wanted to use them, and I would, take this piece off, maybe even cut it in half, and then use the edge right around here like that to, kind of wrap the center. So as you can see, I had cut pieces of it and used it around the stones. I also, used like trim like this and cut it into pieces, and just kind of, used it as layers. See, in fact, it's right there. You can see it, a couple little pieces here and there. So I might have cut this one flower into like 4 segments, and then just showed the edges of these peeking out. I also used some cheesecloth in one of these, I think, right there as one of my layers. And I also used this trim that I had gotten at Hobby Lobby when it was, 50% off. But I think it's really pretty. And I used that on this flower around the edges here, as well as this one. Now this one wasn't necessarily a backwards one. Well, it kind of was, but because I used this particular center, I couldn't wrap it like this, or like this. I had to glue it behind it, but it didn't come up and overlap it, if that makes any sense. So, I based, like, for example, this trim. I might have cut this piece off, or the flower, and I, would wrap it around as a layer, and piece. It's very, this part of the flower was very intricate because it's pieced together with little pieces of trims and appliques and things like that I might have, in my stash. And then I also use like this lace, for example. Where did that go? Here. I had some curtains that I'd gotten at the thrift shop, and I cut them on my Sizzix machine into like little flower shapes, and then, you know, I would fold them or whatever and tuck them in as little petals as a layer. So I have one layer of that like right there and stuff like that. And then you can see I used doilies, you know, different colors. They don't all have to match, you know, like I used white and cream or ivory and tea dyed. This is one of the tea dyed laces that I use from Ooh La La Vintage Treasures, and I did a running stitch on that, and I used that as a layer to kind of give it some dimension, because if it's all white it might lose the effect of the dimension. So these are leaves, you know, from a trim that I had, like this trim I had gotten off of eBay, I think, and I would just cut the leaves, the little flowers and stuff like that into little pieces and use that on these flowers. So I'm just going to show it up a little bit close so you can take a look at what I did. You can see all the doilies, the lace, doilies, trims cut up and put in there. Very pretty. And this one is the only one that uses this kind of bling center, but you can still see that I layered each piece of applique and trim and lace under here, and another trim that I cut in pieces and placed them as petals. Here's some more trim, some lace that I did a running stitch on and then cut the edges, and a beautiful doily to finish up the back. And this one has a lot of different layers in it as well, which I showed you, but you can see all the little pieces of trim that I used. Here's some lace, little doily, some more lace here, another doily, and then that leaf applique trim, some curtains that I cut up and tea dyed, some, this is a white doily. Here's some more of that curtain that I cut up and just did like a running stitch, and then another doily. And this one was, you know, the thickest one, and it's got several layers of doilies and lace. And then here's some very soft lace that I got in a Joann's that I cut into squares and put that as a layer. I also took some of the doilies and made them into quarters and then kind of used that as a layer, so it made it super fluffy. And then this one is actually an all white one with a little bit of ivory in there. But yeah, I did a lot of layering. There's the pearl trim, there's a doily, there's the lace from the curtains that I'd gotten and cut up, then another doily, another doily. This is a dangle trim that I kind of cut into pieces so it would go around in the circle to kind of give it movement, and then a doily to finish it off. So anyway, I hope I didn't bore you to tears, but I hope that you did like the flowers I made. These will look beautiful on projects, really make, I think it will really make a project that I have in mind. So anyway, if you have any questions, just let me know. Lele, Lineca does have a tutorial on her flowers, and you could get an idea and maybe run with that and make your own. So I hope that I've inspired you, and I hope you guys are having a great weekend. Happy Saturday. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye-bye.